Hello and welcome to This Week in Property. I'm your host, Richard Swan, and if you're watching today's show, you're watching the video version of the show, then that handsome, exotic, international gentleman that you can see on the screen beside me is Robin Rivaton, the CEO of Stonal, which is what you're going to hear about today. An incredible AI-powered, not an AI company, no, we're still in property, folks, don't panic, but an AI-powered company that can bring incredible benefits to people trying to manage portfolios. But first of all, good morning, Robin. How are we, sir?
Good morning, Richard. Thanks for having me on This Week in Property. Yes, very happy to be there.
Yes, it's fantastic to have you. And with that fantastic accent and with the small lag that we sometimes get in Zoom, can you explain to people where you're dialing in from today?
Yes, I'm the CEO of Stonal, and I'm based in Paris, France, as you can guess. And it's a banking day in France today, and all the more happy to be here.
Fantastic, very good of you, and I'm very jealous. Just the words. I'm calling in from Paris. Sounds fantastic. Now, tell me this. We're going to get into the nuts and bolts of the company, of the PropTech, Stonal, which is fantastic. But yourself, you are quite a character, sir. Not just the CEO of this company we're going to talk about. No. A former venture capitalist, a former columnist of the major newspaper in France, Le Figaro. Hopefully I pronounced that okay. The author of 7 books, a board member on 7 startups, and a director with 4 development and REIT companies. I mean, my goodness, you've had quite the career. You should be about 95 years old with that kind of history.
Yes, I'm quite involved in the traditional brick and mortar real estate industry, so it's the reason why I sit. I started, and I'm still sitting at the board of several REITs and property developers in France. Yes, prior joining Stonal in April 2022, I was a VC investor, mainly focused on PropTech, on the small city in abroad, but mainly focused on PropTech, and having done several investments, and of course, sitting at the board of the company I've helped to fund.
Fantastic. It's an amazing career. And the books, you've managed to also author all of these books along the way as well. How on earth have you managed to juggle your time?
Yeah, I've always written since the start of my career on several topics and issues, mainly focusing on urban issues and real estate topics along the years. But at start, I was dealing with things like robotics, innovation, tech in general. How I do that? I do that in the morning, to be honest, from 5 to 7. It's the only way to write on a regular basis, and I'm quite curious, so I like to explore new ideas, new markets, new segments. And I think the crossing between real estate and AI and tech in general is something super interesting, as we merge the largest industry in the world by a percentage of the GDP, and we merge all the potential of this new tech and all the productivity it can unleash on the market.
Yeah, definitely. That unleash potential, all of those words. Yeah, you're completely right. So yeah, Robin, AI in itself, artificial intelligence, it's the big buzzword today. PropTech itself, already a very interesting and fascinating subject. Did you feel that AI from the very start was going to have so much potential, or have you been quite surprised by it?
I would say I'm not an AI specialist, as you said, and I have to confess that the more I dig into the AI field, the more impressed I am on the potential of this technology. But I would say that in the real estate industry, we need to do things order by order. And the first thing in the real estate industry is the data quality. We can't train an AI model on poor data set. We need it in AI. We are mainly focusing on machine learning. So we train a machine to emulate some of human cognitive tasks. And to train a machine to emulate human cognitive tasks, we need a proper data set. If not, it's not possible. It's not a black box. It's not magic.
Yeah.
We just need to give data set. We give the first outputs, the true primary sources, and then we ask the machine to mimic the result of having extracted, for instance, this information from documents. But in the real estate industry, the main problem right now is the poor quality of data. So our DNA and the first way we navigate in and we arrived to the AI journey was really about data quality. Our main obsession was really how we can help mainly real estate asset managers, real estate asset owners, to improve the quality of their data about their portfolios, their assets, the buildings they have. And it's the first step to AI.
Yeah, definitely the data, because garbage in, garbage out is the age-old story. So the data has to be right. You're completely right. And where do you see Stonal being different from the rest? Where do you see its unique selling point? What's the thing that you're most proud about the platform itself?
Again, I would say our data quality approach. Our data quality approach is really each task on the platform has been thought in the data quality mindset. It means, just to give you an example, on our platform, you can enter data manually because it's important for some of our clients to enter data manually. We are not super confident with this kind of data entry because when a human try to enter data manually, the results are quite poor. When I mean quite poor, it's like we made a mistake on every 70 characters and a mistake on every 40 numbers. It's gross.
Wow.
It's rough number, of course, but it's just to give you the main idea. So we are not very confident and easy with that, but our clients need to do that. So what we do, if you enter data manually, we timestamp the moment, and we identify the user which has put the data. So it creates a peer pressure, a lot of peer pressure. You want to enter data, and I know it's you, Richard. You mentioned that the rent is like 4,000 sterling per month.
Yeah.
And if I not agree with that, I can just ask you why you do that. And it's really all this kind of stuff. We have created all these data quality guidelines and borders to be sure that at a micro level, that people just change their behavior to be sure that the data is the purest as possible.
Yeah, I like that. It's fantastic. And then it gives a better overview as well, of course, because the asset manager, then he's got more of a trust in the data that he's seeing and more of a trust on the patterns that he's seeing as well, and then can make better decisions. Is there more assets needing acquired? Do we need to sell some? Is the liquidity problems okay? It's giving a better overview for the people at the top and at the bottom as well, isn't it?
Exactly. I would say it's the second step of AI. The first step is really machine learning. So again, it's use AI to extract or to categorize document, to extract some information, to extract some information within a table to put them into a database and things like that. The second step of the AI revolution in the asset management industry is really about predictive model. We can use all this data from the existing assets on the markets, values, rents, and so on, mix them and having some interesting results and patterns. I don't mean it's again a machine and AI could make some mistake. So it's not 100%, but it's something quite important because we always compare the inaccuracy rate of the machine with 0%. But we need to compare the inaccuracy rate of the machine with the human inaccuracy rate. Yeah. And the human is still quite inaccurate. So the predictive second step in the AI use for real estate asset management is really to mix all this data on the buildings, on the market, on the norms as well. You can think about all these ESG regulations. And when I mix all these three kind of data, I could have some interesting recommendation about when I am an asset manager, what can I do? I can buy, I can sell, I can lease, I can refurbish. I don't have many options. And how we see our AI tool in the future, we see it as a co-pilot. Not replacing any human, but really helping someone to put to take the best decision with the most insightful decisions.
Yeah, definitely. I like that. A co-pilot. Yeah, definitely. Not something being replaced. That's fantastic. So, Robin, you mentioned there two the kind of important words, ESG and regulations. You know, it's always a big fear, you know, compliance, the laws, regulations, etc. But again, that's something where your Stonal platform, that can help, can't it? Because you've got direct connection with the regulators, you're able to check documents, etc.
Yes, exactly. It's really one of the unique selling properties of our tool is that we are able to help real estate asset manager to deal with all this regulatory complexity. And I would say that it's just the start. I think the real estate industry is feeling more and more the pressure. You mentioned ESG, but it's also a day-to-day pressure about fire safety, accessibility for disabled persons, and when you own or manage an asset, you need to be more and more compliant, and more rules will weigh on you. So what we do exactly, we are able to extract information from documents. So we are able to extract information, for example, from on-site monitoring inspection. You manage like hundreds of buildings across the UK or across Europe. You can't read all the monitoring inspection reports from all these buildings. It's just not possible. It's not your main job. What we can, where we can help you is really to extract the most critical threat and say, okay, in this building, in this country, you are really at risk. And you don't need to do anything. You just need to ask for remediation to your local property manager, for instance. Yeah. So it's not a big workflow, but it's just to say, okay, I've seen there is a problem, and I just asked remediation. So in case of a criminal investigation, you are protected, and you can just have this kind of protection. So we don't need to map all the regulations from every country in Europe. It will be crazy, and we are not able to do that. But in your building, you have someone who will do this job, but you are just not able to read all the reports. From the ESG perspective, our tools are quite powerful. ESG is mainly scoring grids. So you will create a scoring grid, and from this scoring grid, we can just put as an answer to any of the question of the scoring grid a value we have been able to extract from a document. For instance, it could be the grade of the energy performance certificate of a specific building. And this data has been automatically extracted from the document, is put as an answer of the question of your scoring grid, and you have the proof of the document on which you are extracting the information. So if the watchdog asks to, or just want to check the answer you put in your ESG scoring grid, you could easily just link to the proper documents.
That's perfect, absolutely perfect. Takes a lot of that worry away and still keeps it relatively simple for dealing with those kind of issues. That's fantastic. And that platform, you know, the dashboard that the clients can see and how they can respond to things, have you seen a lot of changes with it? Have you been working with clients and getting feedback and getting your developers to always change things so that it looks the way that a client would prefer it to look?
A lot. I would say, I joined the company in April 2022. So the company has been funded into end of 2017, early 2018. And I would say the difference between the initial vision and the current product is just tremendous. But it's quite normal in the SaaS software as a service industry, and we really progress by learning with a lot of A/B testing. So we try a path and we change and we try another path. We are really listening our clients, any feedback, any improvement. We don't do a specific product, so we don't develop the product specifically for one client. But each time a client asks for something, we will log this information, and if a substantial, reasonable number of clients ask for the same thing, of course, we will try to answer and tackle their needs. So yes, it's a continuous feedback. Sometimes it could be harsh. It could be harsh because sometimes clients could be very difficult to satisfy. But at the end, it's really part of our product, and the reason why we have never lose a client since the start of the company. So it's quite, in my perspective, you were asking about my product achievements. I consider this is one of them, and we really want to continue it will happen. Of course. Probabilities are cruel, but it will happen. But we want to delay it the most in the future as possible.
Yeah, definitely. But you're right. It's a very proud achievement. That's fantastic. Retaining those happy clients for a happy business. Brilliant stuff. Now, the UK, we definitely look at the whole global market, but with This Week in Property, we do focus on the UK. Stonal has just had fantastic success abroad in Europe, France itself. But you launched, was it just this summer that you launched into the UK? Yeah, and how's that been going? What kind of surprises have you found or challenges along the way?
Yes, we launched the UK in April 2023, so just 6 months ago, by hiring a senior sales on the market. I would say we sell quite big enterprise SaaS, so our sales cycle are not short. We need to spend 6, 9, 12 months with our prospects, clients to turn them into clients. So we are quite happy. We're still we think we will sign our first client before the end of the year. We are still in a learning phase on the market. Trying to explain the benefits of our solution regarding the existing competition or regarding existing process. I would say our main competitor is Excel. The asset management industry is still a bit laggard. So to be honest, our main competitor is an Excel file. But Excel is a very good tool. So it's not easy to replace. But we are still in this learning phase. We have made some substantial changes on the platform by learning the feedback of prospects or potential clients. The most striking fact is really UK is a word of mouth market. Yes, I think network connection references are super important on this market. And it's something we are super confident with, and now we're just building our name, the trust, and with the AI, everybody at first is skeptical. You just tell people, okay, you have done it manually during decades, and now you have these magical things you can't even touch or see, and this thing will be able to do all this job. People at first are really okay, and you have seen dozens of startups promising something crazy and creating deception. So at first it's not easy. But I would say our best our best ambassador is real life test. It's just what we offer to some prospects. It's a real life test, and people just can say that it works. So if it works, why I can try it? I would say the return investment is quite obvious. We price around 1,500 funds per year per building, and it's of course it changes with a volume effect, but it gives you a rough number. And if you compare it to the time of junior asset managers having to deal with all the documents several days, if not weeks, a year on a specific building, ROI is quite obvious.
Yeah, definitely. The bigger the scale, the bigger the savings, because that's where the complexity can be handled better. Yeah, fantastic. Now, listen, I want to be respectful of your time. You've been very patient with us, which is great, and it's been great chatting with you. I'm just wondering your opinions on the property market in general across Europe going forward. And it's amazing having your background, because when I think of those books, especially specializing in urban challenges, you've got a lot of information there, a lot of data there, and your own experiences and opinions. How do you see things going forward? Do you see big change coming? Do you see just a gradual evolution of all areas of the market? Or have you had any thoughts with, the pandemic behind us, that you can see something changing with commercial, something changing with residential? What's the general picture you have about the markets going forward?
Yes, thank for the question. I follow very closely the global property market along beyond just the tech or AI side. I write the most spreaded newsletter in French language on the property market called Real Estate, with 20,000 readers, not subscribers, readers a week. So it's quite, and we follow the market very closely. I would say the current challenge on the market are structural. I don't think it is just a conjunctural. It's just it's not only about raising interest rates and so on. We are all aware about the cyclicity, not all, but I would say that the most experienced ones are aware with the cyclicity of this business. And of course, we have experienced a golden age. I would say that real estate is the most leveraged asset class in the world. If you have the lowest interest rate in the modern economic period, of course you benefit from this in a disproportionate manner. But beyond that, I think things will change. I would say that the first thing is ESG. The contribution of the property market and property in general to the fight against climate change and to the fight against greenhouse gases emission will cost a lot. And I would say that the property market enters in this phase with 10 years later than the auto industry, for instance. The carbon emission, maximal emission in the automotive industry are like dating from the 2000 to 2010. And the property sector is entering the game a bit later. So it will cost massive money. The second thing is the change in behaviors. You mentioned some of them after the pandemics, but I would say some of them are quite structural. And what we don't measure is the end of some phenomenon. One of the most important phenomenon in the property market over the last 50 years has been the metropolization, the concentration of young people in small densely populated areas. And it's it's not the end in the sense of I don't buy the urban exodus theory, but it's just that now it's over. I mean, there is no more young people migration from countryside to urban areas. It's done. So it's not a current engine for the property market. It's the effect has done. It was the case for the office market as well. Over the past 20 years, most small and medium enterprise with headquarters in countryside or medium cities have migrated to London or Paris or some of the largest cities in the country. But now it's done. There are no more small SMEs in the countryside. So this effect is done, and I would say now the things will depend a lot on the asset class, on the housing. In every country in the world, scarcity is here. I mean, people want to live more and more alone, and so we need to have housing to accommodate this behavior, and we haven't built enough dwellings in the UK, of course. I just give this number because it's super striking for me, but from 2000, the UK has added 8 million inhabitants.
Right.
The France has added 7 million inhabitants. France has built 2.5 more residential square meters than the UK. 2.5 more residential. So you could imagine the scale of the housing shortage in the UK, but so I think housing will be super resilient, but regulations will weigh more and more as the rents are increasing. People renting will ask to more and more protection, so it will hamper or lower the ability of landlords to increase rents. And regarding office and retail, I think it's not a collapse. I think a collapse is exaggerated, but I would say that the downward pressure will be felt more and more.
Right, fascinating. Absolutely, that was tremendous. What a journey you took us on there. And you're right. There's these core principles involved of supply and demand. You know, there's just not enough there. There's not. That's dead simple. Really simple to to watch and focus. And then there's these other, the office, the migration into the centre, and so on and so forth. It's a fantastic thing to look at. And I suppose lots of challenges. Lots of regulations, as you say, but with all of these things comes lots of opportunity as well. And but we need to have the correct data, and that's why we need platforms such as Stonal to make those right decisions, to see that we're managing all of those portfolios properly. It's tremendous, absolutely tremendous. I wish you the best of luck in your ongoing growth in the UK, but for your time today and for speaking on This Week in Property, thank you very much, Robin.
Thank you for the invitation, Richard. It was a pleasure, and hope to see you again on this UK property market.